So without wasting much time, let's start with our speaker session. First up, we have Sana Suman. Sana is a transgender woman activist from Bangalore. She works with a prominent CBO Swatantra organization in the city Bangalore in the capacity of founder member. She's the first openly transgender student to have enrolled in St. Joseph's College and now completing her master's in journalism. Her aim is to continue working on trans rights and welfare through advocacy work and promoting the growth of leaders and change makers from trans communities. So I'd like to welcome Sana to come forward and express her thoughts. Also, I'd like to, tell everyone that we are doing this for the first time, bringing in a holistic perspective around the topic of feminism and gender. If if I or any of us makes a mistake in addressing or in the terms that we use, please correct us, pardon us and correct us. We would like to be informed and change the way we address someone the way they want it to be. So yes, having said that, so Sana Suman, over to you to
Hey,
express
hi,
your thoughts.
hi, Vishala,
Hi,
hi, Abhumi.
hi,
thank,
welcome.
thank you so much for this opportunity. It's a great initiative that it has been taken in the lockdown also. Yeah,
We
people
are
are
happy to
so.
have you.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is the one of the interesting topic that we really need to be discussed. And thanks so much to considering me one of the panel to discuss this. Uh, to start uh, about myself, I think Vishala has been expressed all my introduction, and so yeah, I'm the first transgender student doing my masters in St. Joseph Evening College. And I also run an organization called Swatantra Organization. This organization is for just for the to work for the transgender rights. And also I work for I have initiated an old age home for the transgender old elderly transgender person, because most of people would have been seen that there are no elderly transgenders among us. So because the thing is that because of the lack of nutrition and they don't have a proper shelter, and they die on the roadside, and it is so critical for to survive their lifespan. So due to that, keeping your mind again coming to same topic like feminism. So when you go for an old age home, so there is acceptance for the elderly men and for the elderly women, but for the elderly trans women or for the elderly trans man, it has not been accepted so far. So again, there is again the kind of notions that that you are a transgender and you are not a normal gender. So there is a lot of misconception again in the society. So due to that, it has been excluded even from the accepting in that spaces where it is a kind of a situation where you are helpless. So that is the intention where I also am running a old age home for the transgender people. I have a 4 transgender elderly person where I take care of them. And also when Abhirami called me, I was just thinking about the feminism, within the community, how do we look on feminism. I was just talking to my cousin children and saying that what do you think about the equality? I was just talking about what do you think of equality, because my cousin has 3 children. I asked a very similar question to all these 3 people children, and they said, auntie, equality is something very equal to us. So I asked, among you three, how do you mother treat all you 3 children? And my last child, he was telling, we all 3 are very equal to mother. So mother treats us very equally among us. Even there are a boy child, a woman, a girl children, 2 of them. So mother treats them as very equally. So I was really felt so happy that this is somewhere we are looking for what exactly the feminism meaning is about. So yes, this is the right meaning of feminism, that what we are looking, because when we are part of this society, be it apart from binary of two genders like man or women, we are the genders where apart from those identity. So how do we are looking in this society? It is somewhere it has been totally excluded and been discriminated from the society, and also we are not privileged to have the society privileges like educations, hospital, and for the job opportunities, other etc., which has been totally been denied for us. So somewhere I really sense that how does exactly it means for equality over here. So yes, when we are part of the society, the transgender community also being part of this society, yes, like that, in that context I think even transgenders also should be treated as equally, equally, since I really follow on the feminism, exactly the meaning is like for a just equitable society. This is what I really believe on that, because being a transgender, nobody wants us to show us sympathy on us saying that, oh, your papa, so kind of that. We really don't want that kind of notions. We really want people to consider as equally how the men and the women are being treated in the society. Yes, women are also being discriminated. Yes, that is another story also we have to discuss for. But we are being more discriminated, we are being more marginalized, and it has been like all equalities of rights and the entitlements also being rejected for us. So coming to this, again we are talking about the people who's born with the penis, because a kind of a boy child, and born with a vagina, a girl child. Then a baby is born with the both sex genital, like what do we consider them and how do we treat them? They are called as a intersex children, intersex babies, and how do they been treated and how it has been looked on society. So it is something people having misconception saying that even the intersex children's also a kind of a transgender. No, it has its own different meaning. How do we understand those things, and how do we educate the parents, and how do we educate their medical institutions and other medical practitioners? So it is also the concept that how do we understand all these terminologies and different identities existing within the transgender communities. So those things all, it is important that when we really want to understand and we want to see the equality context as a feminism, we should really understand on those things. And also in within the women group, women's activist movements also, one of there was a Nirbhaya case happened. So one of our committee, transgender community is also, we've been presented for the for this there is a one bill that we have been bought after the Nirbhaya rape case. So we've been presented, and within the women's group, people said that we will accept you transgenders as 99%, but 1% we are not going to accept you as a woman. But why? The question raised, why? And the women activist people say that you don't give a birth to a child, and a milk, you can't produce a milk for a baby, and you don't undergo for periods. So due to this, we don't consider you as a woman, because we consider you as a normal, like 99% we will accept you, but somewhere within 1% or 2 3%, we're not going to accept you, because
Sana, are you there? I think there's a network problem. Sana, are you there?
Sorry. Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Now
Hello?
you're audible.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Sana.
Yeah, I am here.
Yes, we can hear you, Sana.
Sorry, some net issue. Am I audible?
Yes, Sana, you're audible. I think you're having an internet bandwidth problem. Maybe if you switch off the
Hello?
video, your bandwidth will be
Yes,
better.
I'm here. Hello?
Sana, are you able to hear me? I'm Priya here.
Hello?
Yes, Sana, can you hear me?
I think there's an internet issue, and that's why Sana has left the call. Abhi, can you contact her and check if she can rejoin?
Yes, I'll do that.
Sure. Sorry about this technical issue. We'll just check and get back Sana.
I'll contact Sana. Maybe we can move on with the next speaker. When she reconnects, I think she can join us.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. We'll talk to Sana soon. Next speaker with us is Shilok. Shilok, a queer woman, is a marriage of celebration and destruction. The powerful feminine energy in herself, which she calls it Shakti, is being used to many arts. Two important art forms that she uses to destroy patriarchy are dance and poetry. Dance she uses is Atmanatyam. She named it so because each move is a language of the soul. And poetry she usually writes in her mother tongue Kannada, where she's trying to create a language to speak about queerness. She's a national award recipient for her radio show Lesbians in the Shadows from Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Government of India. She's been awarded many for her work on poetry and been invited to literature festivals like Bangalore Lit Fest, Times Lit Fest, Equal by Ranga Shankara, and so on. Recently, one of her poems has been chosen as syllabus at Coimbatore University. So let's hear it from Shilok. Shilok, I'd like to welcome you to express your thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vishada. Um, yeah. Hello, everyone. It is my honor and pleasure to be here to be a part of such wonderful conversation. Um, I I love feminism. I study feminism, so feminism is like a very favorite topic to me. Um, well, I think Sana was making really a very important points regarding the queer feminism and how does it, what is the stand today and like why is it so important and stuff. Um, well, I think we have an experience like, being born as a male person and like, enjoying that privilege of a man, and then to also next, like, the phase where you as a woman and also facing so many discrimination, like, what what is it to be a other gender. um and also the very important aspect of identity, like, what is identity, like, how do we, like, what is the privilege of identity for some people and what is not. For example, I wanted to tell everyone that for most of the cisgender heterosexual people, gender is a privilege. Okay, because it's not a privilege for most of us, most of the queer community, because you have to, like, work hard, you have to fight for your gender identity. So, like, even, like, it's so easy for other people to get a identity card with respective gender, but for us we have to fight for it. We have to go to courts, we have to, like, go to all this government offices, stand, and, like, and to listen to their stupid questions regarding our gender is very humiliating, and it's a lot to go through, right? um, and also the kind of a fighting for that identity in a patriarchal society isn't easy at all, because we live in a society where the rules for the equality is made by man. Even, like, to talk about women rights, like, there is less women and more men. And even with the queer community, when there was a transgender bill or anything with regarding LGBT community, there were male people than, like, queer people. There were no trans people to be asked their opinion to make any laws, and we are in these kind of a system. um and also for me personally as an artist, to embrace femininity, the art was the only medium to express, because uh, being in a art field for so many years, I feel that art is the only space which is non-gendered, where gender isn't matter or your sexuality doesn't matter. It's what it really matters is your life, your skills, and, like, about your knowledge. But that isn't the thing with the other, like, workspaces, like, if, so first of all, like, most of the trans people or any queer people, when they embrace their femininity or masculinity, whatever, you're always questioned and you're seen vulnerable. Anything which is not masculine is seen vulnerable. So when you as a person choose to challenge that, remove the masculinity in you, and, like, to chase the femininity and believe that it isn't the same, like, even femininity is also as strong as masculinity, like, as important as it is. um I think I have really less time, so I can really talk for a very long time. Being a radio jockey for 3 years, it's like people pay me to talk, so I've been used to it. But then I wanted to read something which, when I did my sex reassignment surgery a 1.5 year back, um, I was all alone, as in, like, I didn't tell my parents because of various reasons, and I had a friend who was with me for a week, and then other rest of the week I have to stay all by myself. So there was a third day when, after the sex reassignment surgery, in the procedure, the third day they removed the rod from the inside the vagina so that it doesn't actually, contract. um, and it is a very painful procedure. Like, I think it's the moment where I felt like giving birth to myself. I think it's a very rare chance to anyone in this world to have that experience. um, and so I wrote this. I think that will explain the kind of a struggle of the gender what I face. So this was after that incident, like, when they removed, I told the doctors and nurses, please put something so I know it's gonna bleed. They didn't listen, and the whole white bed sheet was completely with blood. Okay, so after that, like, it really felt something for me, and I wrote this. uh, it's in the morning at 10 o'clock. I wrote, I'm having this beautiful feeling, which I'm feeling now. 6 days back, when I had my surgery, everything was so zero. I didn't feel anything. It was empty. Later, after 2 days, I sense my vagina and I feel the heat on following time when I witness blood and got terrible pain. I feel the energy of this nature's volcano flowing from it. But today, though there was pain and I am bleeding, when I feel it and when I saw it, it was this energy of beautiful river, a river which is a female body. And it was calm and strengthening and living inside and out. It wasn't so dark, but it was beautiful red drops. Today I feel the energy of Swayambhu. Today I am Swayambhushini, a self-created one. I'm the nature, not the one created by nature. I was self-created. The moment I started bleeding and it spread my vulva and it reached the bed sheet, she was warm and calm. Not so thick, not so forceful, not so dark, beautifully red. I have been carrying her from the day I came from nature because it was told she don't have to be created. She had to self-create herself. And so she is not attached with conditions, insecurities, or attached values. I, the body, was just a well strengthened protective cave to keep her safe till she is ready to come. I was the strong shell for her, and now she is strong enough to come out. She's not violent, volumeful. She's beautiful, warm, and calm. She do look like her. She do look like me, sound like me, but she's not me. As days roll, you will witness the Swayambhu. She is going to raise herself and do all the necessity that she has given birth to herself. Nor the creator, nor the mediator has any rights on her. She is free as much as whole cosmos are explorable. She is Ioniga, born without the womb. So that's what I wrote. And also, Ioniga is also one thing that in Hindu mythology that you address Parvati because she never gave birth from her womb. So it's also the question when Sana was like, mentioning about who is the woman, right? There are a lot of cisgender women born with a perfect biological body, but still there is deficiency with their uterus. Some women who cannot give birth, some women who do not have a constant periods. Do you label them you're not a woman? So, or a man who can really do not have certain count of semen, like do you like label them you're not a man? And why us? Of course, it doesn't matter. I was born as a woman, but still, I had my struggles to give birth to myself. But still, you question my gender, and you wanted to put a layer of third gender and stuff, where again the patriarchy is ruling. Like, who are you to place the gender first, second, and third? And also, the very difficult part for the queer community is uh, there are a lot of privilege for the other people because you have a heterosexual parenting models around you. Like a lot of people haven't seen other parents raising LGBT kid, and and you try what don't want you to raise LGBT kids. You most of the people abandon them and stuff. So do we have a very gender neutral parenthood models around us? So and all this kind of, and also the patriarchal practices, is it only a man who is doing it? I have experienced myself mostly targeted by women who are practicing patriarchy. So at the end, I feel that what is equality for me is, or feminism is just a synonym for equality. So equality is just for me other human being respecting me as the other human being. So where you have a humanity inside you and respect each other regardless of gender, sex, sexuality, or anything. So how do we reach there is the biggest question, but I think change begins from us. It is very easy to blame societies, it is very easy to blame other communities, but are we having change from ourselves is also a biggest question. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shilok. A round of applause for Shilok. I'm left speechless, honestly. I mean, lovely, poem that you have written, and I love the lines that your nature, not something created by nature, and you gave birth to yourself. I think it's very powerful, and so much just from your heart. That's what I could sense. And thank you for sharing your thoughts and about your personal journey. It means a
Thank
lot
you.
to us. And thank you for
Thank you.
raising valid concerns about the challenges that the community faces. And very rightly
Exactly.
questioned that, who are you to call it first, second, and third? You know,
Exactly. And also, I forgot to mention there was. If I have time, I can just spend 2 minutes to tell this.
sure.
Uh, so many people ask me why you don't identify yourself as a trans woman. Well, a lot of people have their own, like it is about identity and labeling. So what I identify myself is what is important. And there was like one time in a literature festival, there were a lot of other poets and also rappers. And in the invitation they were written like so and so and so, and like Shilok Mukati, transgender poet. So that was the time, am I invited here because of my writing, because of my skills, because of my talent, or is it because of my gender? So why is it necessary to I am not only my gender, I am more than that, which is important. So also, most and also with the trans identity, it also about traveling from one gender to other gender. I also myself feel that psychologically I have never gone through that transition, so I have always been as a woman. And the third thing is also about, as children we never dreamt that like one day I will become a trans woman, or so and so woman. We always dreamt to be just a woman, and can we just be that is also a question. Why do you again have to put a box? Why do you again have to divide things? Is it all our movement, is it going for exclusion of the society or inclusivity? Where are we running? So any work that we are doing, is it a work which is inclusive for everyone? So I think that I end with that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I personally loved the fact that you said art has no gender. That is why you connect with art. And I think with your art,
Yeah.
with both poetry and dance, I'm sure you're connecting with a lot of people and putting that message across. What do you feel from your heart?
Yes, that's true. We do feel that.
Thank you. Thank you, Shilok.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vishala.
So, Abhi, is Sana with us?
Yes, Sana has joined us.
Yeah, Vishala.
Yeah, Sana, hi.
Yeah,
We'll continue with
yeah.
Sana and then move on to the next speaker. I'd like to request everyone to put yourselves on mute and also turn off your video so that we can, have more bandwidth.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
So
So
thank you
over
so
to you.
much. So thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much because I had some connection issue. Okay, so I was just talking about the one of judgment that we have been recently received on Section 377 also. And before that, I was just talking about the Justice Verma Committee report, which has been came after the Nirbhaya rape case. So there was a feminist group. We were talking about that we are not going to accept you 1% of like that you're not a woman. So like just talking taking this conversation saying that exactly who are the women's like there is a lack within the women also, like they don't give a birth, and they don't produce a milk as well. So do we really consider them as a woman or not? And that is where actually we all looking like how do the feminism is talking about, because we transgenders also, we claim ourselves our own identities, like we have our own dignity of identity. So I think somewhere it should be accepted within the feminist movement as well, because we really suffer very similar problems, like how the women faces like sexually abuse, sexually discriminations, where we have been so exposed to the society, because we have only two options for the survival, where we are not that privileged because we have been thrown out from the family and we come out, so and we live here for the survival of our livelihood is only for the begging and for the sex work. So apart from this, we are not being given any opportunity to survive. So that is where actually why is this kind of a situation for the transgender community when we are talking about the equality among our movements. So when we are talking about equality, again, I really believe on the equality in equity. So when you're talking about the equity, so there is a lot of difference between within a trans communities also. There are a privileged and privileged people who are well settled communities. So how do we differentiate, and how do we filter the really concerned people, that how do we take care of that people? Like there are a HIV positive community people who literally been thrown out within the community also. So there is a kind of different notions within the community. They practice different kind of culture systems. Like in a hijra culture, it is a kind of a mandate saying that you have to wear a sari, you have to get castrated, you have to have a long hair, and your hair should not be cut down, because if you cut your hair, you will be penalty for 50,000 rupees, and you should not wear a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. And if you wear a sari, it is good, and if you wear a jeans and t-shirt, you also again been penalty for that. So how do we look, how do we educate within our transgender communities also? So there is a kind of notion again here, if you are really castrated, then the community accepts the trans the individual person as a complete transgender person. When you are not castrated, then again there is a kind of a discrimination within the community. So how do we look all this also scenarios behind those things, and how do we educate those things also? Because yeah, at last we have to survive within the community as well, because the society has been excluded us, and we don't have any space to survive in the society. So in that case, we just come within the community and we have to survive with that all this kind of myths and notions. So how do we really educate those things also, and how do we get connected with different movements of the feminists, and how do we get more support system so that we really practice a good practice within the community also? So there is a very less voices that people talk within the communities, a kind of a violations and discrimination. So very less, because it is a kind of a space that you can't express openly. So that is also very important to understand the within the communities issues as well. So moreover, again, coming to about the overall holistically, we have to understand that the transgender communities are the identity where a transition of from a male born child to a trans woman. So it is a completely identity. It is identity where the individual chooses and selects its own identity. So we have to really respect, as per the Supreme Court judgment of 2015, it is also says that it is a self-identification. So when we are talking about the self-identification, I think we should really accept them as that what the identity is being expressed by the individual. So in this context, I really talk about about the issues within the communities and the issues with the society. So how do we really think all those things, and how do we educate all those things and come across for the equality for the equality theme? So this is what I really want to express, Vishala. And again, thank you so much for this opportunity. And yeah, we will looking forward for support from other people.
Thank you so much, Sana. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. A round of applause for Sana, please. It's really sad that, you know, to hear something like you are 99% woman, but not completely, with some conditions that are put across. And it's sad that there's that kind of you know, stigma around people who are also actually activists, you know, actually leading the movement. And yes, I see that the challenges are multi-layered, you know, for you, because within the society there is some kind of an exclusion, and then within the community there are more challenges that you know, you have to face. But I think the fact that you're speaking with us here today and you're expressing your thoughts and you've had this amazing journey itself says that you have a lot of power and then courage, and I think you can make a difference in so many people's lives. And now that you're talking to us, we are taking back this point about inclusion, about you know, that sensitivity to not make it 99 but not 1, that kind of a thing. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. It means a lot to us that you spoke about those personal you know, difficulties that you and other people in your community are also facing. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much, Vishala.